Hi everyone and welcome back to card number 9. This is our last one for this morning. I forgot to show you in the last class, I said we dressed it up. Remember we sponged around it and we dressed it up. Now I've got one here that I did earlier just so you can sort of see the difference. This one's just done plain and this one's got a little bit more texture on it. They don't look very different, but you can sort of see the plain one to the one that's got a little bit of texture on it. Just stands out a little bit more. But it doesn't matter which way you do it. I'm quite sure the person that you give it to is going to love it anyhow because it's been handmade. So we are now coming into card number 9 and we're going to be stamping. So if you've got the gears and texture stamp set, because this is the one we've been using for the last 3 cards, but we used the dies for the first 2. But this one we're going to be using not just the dies, we're going to be doing a bit of stamping as well. And we're going to be stamping over designer series paper, just to show you can get different textures for different looking cards. Okay, so let's come down. Make sure you've got your stamp set or a stamp set that's equivalent to something that you can use. It might have arrows or something on it. You've got a picture so you know roughly what you're looking for. The raffle number is 55. Have you got it, Tanya? The lucky winner is purple 55. I hope Toby's okay, Susan, if you've been up and down. Hope everything's okay there, love. We're still looking for raffle ticket number 55, so I know someone's got it because all the kits are out. So please make sure you got 53. Okay, well, if we don't have anyone, I'm quite sure one of the girls that might be doing night shift or whatever and hasn't opened their kit yet, please make sure you open your kit as soon as you can, just to see what raffle ticket you have, and let me know if you've got number 55. I know someone's got 55 because they went out. Okay, so let's come down. You don't want to see the top of my head, I know. Let's come down. So let's open up our kit. We have our envelope and we're going to do a bit of decorating on our envelope, which we're going to do first because sometimes we forget to do the envelope. So if we do that first, it makes it easier then. It's already done. We need the stamps, okay? So we need our stamps and the die pieces for those who have your kits. Your die pieces and your little embellishments and everything are in your pack. So this is the benefit of having a pack or having a post out to you, is everything is, if it's a die cut, is die cutted out for you. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to stamp. So if you get the products early enough, or the instructions early enough to be able to purchase it, or you can purchase it afterwards after you've watched the videos. It's entirely up to you. Most of the time the girls have something in their stash that they love to use, so you can always find something in your stash. Now I'm going to show you a little tip that I have done here. I've got my second bit of paper over here, but I actually stamped my images down first before I removed anything off my hard. This is the hardcover one. So I just inked it up when it was on the hardcover, stuck it down, and then placed all my pieces onto that hardcover so it doesn't stick to the paper. And then my soft little one I keep because you don't want it to stick over onto this piece of paper. Okay, and then that way all your pieces are there. You can see all your pieces. You can see before I actually did that, have a look at these couple of pieces that have got paper on them. And I've left the paper on just to show you that it does stick to the paper, okay? but you just need to soak them in some warm soapy water and the paper will peel off, which I'll do later. But I just wanted to share. Now, if for some reason you threw out your bits of paper, you can always put them, the hard one, into a silicone bag with your stamps, and then you can just put your silicone bag in there. That's another little tip. Some people undo that sticky bit and stick it there. I don't like doing that. Or you can just stick it over the top, the silicone bag over the top. So it's a choice thing. But I have been asked so many times. So little tip, little ideas. As you can see, they do stick. So we want to do our envelope up, and we're going to grab our circle. This is the circle. We're going to grab the circle and a block. And I'm using Early Espresso. You can use whatever colour you want, but I'm using Early Espresso. I like Early Espresso for these type of men's cards. I think they're lovely. And on the back, you can always write your information down the bottom if you want to decorate up this flappy part. So we're just going to come in and do this here. You can come over a little bit, so it comes over on the front. It's not a problem. People think that you can't do that. If you want it light, you can always stamp off. So you can come in now with the second lot, just lighter. Okay, and that just gives you a nice background for your envelope, which is really lovely. And then you can just sort of do a lighter one and a lighter one on the front if you want to. Okay, it doesn't even have to be hard. So very quick, easy way of decorating up your envelope. But everyone loves it when they get an envelope that's got a little bit of ink on it. I remember at one of my very first conventions many years ago with Shelley, and she said, never send a naked envelope. And it's always nice to have a bit of ink on it, because the simple reason is people go, oh, I'm getting a Stampin' Up card. They know straight away it's a Stampin' Up card. So quick, easy way of decorating up your envelope is just adding a little bit of texture to it, okay? So the next thing we need to do is grab our piece of DSP. Now, I have tried to give everyone, you can't all get the same piece exactly, because unfortunately I'm cutting up a 12 by 12. So hopefully whatever you've got works for you. Okay, so the first thing we need is our little arrows, and you can do this in black or you can do it in all one colour, and I'm doing all mine in Early Espresso. And I'm just going to ink that up, and I'm keeping it solid because it's pretty, you know, the designer series paper is sort of got a lot of depth in it. So I want that like that. So I'm going to come down and put one of these here. And I sort of go from top and then to bottom. Okay, that's how I sort of decorate mine, how I start doing it, is top to bottom. You will find that your Early Espresso, sometimes if you don't get your ink off quick, it will stain it slightly on these photopolymer stamps, but that's not a problem, okay? So once you've done your little arrows, you can pop your arrow back into the packet, and we're going to get this big circle that we just used on the envelope. And we're going to come down and we're going to stamp out one of these. You can have either the dots to the top or the dots to the bottom. It's entirely up to you. So I've got one there. And then this is where we're going to do a step of 3. So I'm going to do one here. And you can do it whichever way you want. I'm going to overlap a little bit. And then I'm going to overlap again, coming out this way. So I've got a step of 3 in there. Okay, clean your stamp off. Can you hear my chamois? Okay. Just want to get all those little pieces out of those little dots. So make sure that you give it a good clean. Okay, because, yeah, it does stain, like I said, but it's okay, it still works fine. So we've sort of got the decorating a little bit done. We just need this little cross, and I'm just going to grab my little block because I love my little blocks. I know you can't buy these little blocks anymore. I wish you could, but you can't. But I love my little block for these tiny little ones, but you can use just a corner. And we're just going to come in. This is a solid one with a little cross in the middle, and I'm just going to come in and do 3 little ones along the top here. The good thing about these little stamps here is that you can add them where you want, one down the bottom there. You can do 3 if you want to, or you can come in and do 3 coming out that way. Okay, so I got 3 and I want an odd one. I would do 2 on that side. Okay, so stamping on designer series paper is a lot of fun. It gives a lot of texture and it looks a little bit different. So now we've got our splash. It's our splash. And this little splash just goes up in here because we're actually putting some stuff over the top of this. So, and then one down into this corner. So we will be putting something over that with our die cuts. So it's a choice whether you do it. It just gives it a little bit of extra texture. Okay, and that's what I'm here to share with you, how to actually do that. So you can sort of see having your stamps already glued into your cover here makes it so much easier to know whether or not you've actually lost one or you haven't. And especially for demonstrators that are doing classes, it's really handy to have that like that. Pop it in there and then you can pop it away. So that's our stamping done. Not a lot, and it's not hard. So our next bit is to get all our bits out of here. Oh no, we've got one little bit of stamping left to do. And I don't think I've got the stamp set on the table, but you can stamp whatever whatever you want on yours. Happy birthday, just because, but we'll put it all together first. You can always do that last little bit of stamping. Okay, so we've got one with the little dots in it. So this is going to come down on here. We want to take these little crosses out of here. Now, some of these little bits, all these little bits you can save in a little jar if you want to, because they make great shaker bits. Because you're going to have lots of different colours when you're making cards, and you can just keep them in a little container or a little Ziploc bag. And then when you go to make a shaker card for a man, you've got all these many beautiful pieces. So I'm just going to sort of lay it before we glue it, if it wants to sit there. Okay, so we've got this, and then we've got a ladder, what I call a ladder. We're just going to see all these little bits. They make fantastic little shaker pieces. All these little cogs, just put everything back into your little cellophane bag and you can use all these little bits for a shaker card. Absolutely fantastic. Especially if you want to do a men's card, because they're all men's colours. And it doesn't matter if it's got blue, green, brown, whatever, crumb cake. Okay, so just grab these little bits out. You can use your little brush if you've got a brush. I'm using my fingers this time because I know I've got some newbies that don't have all the tools. So you can just smooth it out, and then this piece is going to sort of go above there. We have also the next one, so you want to pull out the little crosses out of this one, the little chain. You can use your scissors if you want to get these out. Okay, so for those people that don't have all the tools yet, where's my little scissors gone? Over here. And you can just close your scissors and you can just pop them out this way too. Okay, so just a couple of tips there if you don't have the tools. Because it's important to know how you can do it. If you don't have the tools, you look at it and you go, I'm new to this and I don't know what you're talking about, Teresa. So, yeah. So we're going to add this one. So we're going to start down the bottom and then we're going to build our way up. Okay, now if you're an advanced person, you might want to grab a sponge stopper and you might want to do some sponging into this. Okay, so early espresso, you do not want it too dark, so ink him up a little bit, and then on a scrap piece of paper, always have a scrap piece of paper, just come in and try it, because you don't want it too dark. The good thing about this one too is that you can use this as a little template as well, and it looks amazing. So as you can sort of see, you get different textures for on a card. If you're doing a card, you can use that negative as well. Okay, so let's start in the corner and then work our way up. We all should have those pieces out. So this is going to go into the corner like this. And if you wanted to texture it up a little bit, you can. If you want it to stand right out, you don't need to texture at all. Okay, we're going to grab our little dimension pack. We're going to pull that little bit out of our glue there. Roll your fingers together. It will take that little bit off. You'll get those little bits rolled off. Squeeze. Well, you still might have some on there, but squeeze. And then just little dots. Okay. You just want tiny little dots here on the back of this. Now, you can use your adhesive sheet if you've got one when you're die cutting these out, but I find sometimes it's just easier to just do little dots on these tiny little ones. It's entirely up to you. I love both. So this is coming into the corner down here. Okay. Then we've got our next one. This is the crane cage. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a funny name, this one. I'm just doing a little bit of glue in between each. You don't want to do too much more than what I've put on because it will split out at the sides. You don't want it to split out at the sides. You don't want your card being tacky or sticky. Turn it around and just put a little bit on the end. Okay, so we're going to come up roughly about here. There's no right wrong here, guys, so don't feel like you have to do it right wrong. We're going to have it overlapping each side of the designer series paper. So it's just going to be hanging off the edge on each side. Then we're going to glue our tiny little bit of glue on here. Don't do the real edge because it's going to be hanging over just slightly. Pick up a little bit of glue and put it on here. Who loves stamping on designer series paper? Tell me in the comments. Is it something you've done, never done, or you do something you do always? And if you haven't done it, give it a go because it's always a lot of fun. Then this one's coming up here. We're using the chain, but we're not using the backing on this one. We're just using the actual chain. And just slide it across a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to come in with what I call, like I said, the ladder. Where did I put that ladder? Up here. Now this is the trickiest one to glue. So just tiny little dots. And I just go backwards and forwards, one side, then the other. Okay, a little bit on that side, a little bit on this side. A little bit on this side, and a little bit on this side. So you don't have to do the whole lot, okay? Just a little bit on each side. Okay, and then this is going on and above this one. Well, Move. This one just fits into the designer series paper, but that's okay, whichever way you got it. Okay, give your hands a rub and get that glue off. If you've got a bit of glue on your hands, get that off. We're going to grab our little green cog, because this is going to go on here like this, and this is going to give us an indication of where we're going to put our next ones. Okay, so I'm going to, it's sort of above this one here. I've marked it above this circle on mine. Look for a point on yours where you're stamped and see if you can, you'll be able to lay it down to that point. So always look for a little point that you can lay it down, or you can measure and you can mark it with a little pen or a pencil. Okay, so mine was going sort of like right here along this one here, along this top one. Once you feel like you've got it where you want it, just press it down. No right, no wrong. Once again, grab the little bits out of this piece, which is the chain. I'm going to do it with the scissors because it's a bit quicker. If you've got a brush, you can use your brush because that's quick. If you've got a pick tool, you can use your pick tool. And if you're new and you haven't got a pick tool, I'm sure you've got a pair of scissors that you can just push through the little crosses. Okay, now remember earlier we got a flip flap. You can put all these little pieces into your flip flap for a shaker card as well. And you can even add some cogs and everything in there too, just to make it a little bit different. Okay, once again, just come down on your mat, so when you squeeze it, you know that it's coming out. And just do tiny little bits. You do not want it to go too heavy. Okay, you have good control over this, except for when it's getting really, really empty, then it's harder to control. So if, for instance, you were doing something like this and your glue was just about empty, I would go and get a new one out just to do this type of stuff, because it can be quite hard doing it when you're shaking that container down and then you squirt and a great big blob comes out. So you can do this one over the top of this one. I love that you get that little hexagon type shape in the center of these chains. Okay, like in here you've got crosses and little hexagons, and then we've got our last ladder. So once again, for those who do not have, just pop all these out. It's the reason why I left some in this time. Yours might be a lucky one, it might have all fallen out when I left it up, but I tried to leave some in so I can give you your tips. So, but look at all these little bits that you're getting for a shaker card. Oh my God, lots and lots, and you would have got lots, so. Okay, now this is just going above here. Once again, little dots either side. One side and then the other. Okay. So it's like a zigzag across with your glue. You don't have to do it on every one. You can do it on 3 or 4 runs down. As long as you've got a bit of glue there to hold it, it will hold. Okay, and then, oh, that stuck to my finger. And then this one goes right at the top there. Okay, move that out of the way. I don't really want to set something in that. You do get gluey hands at times with this. We've got another white, or this is actually beige, the colour that's on here. This is your beige paper. It's absolutely beautiful. Who's used the beige? It's a lovely colour. So once again, you can just come in with a little bit of brown if you want to, espresso. Just do along the edges a little bit. Don't have to do much, it's entirely up to you. And then this is going to come in here. But you can sort of see the splatters look really good behind it. And then just, again, a little bit of glue on each of these. Just to hold it. And you don't have to do too much. You just need it to be able to hold it in place. Okay, and then right up into this top corner. The nice thing about it is it looks like it's meant to be. So this is what it's looking like now. We're really stepping it up on layer. So we've done the designer series paper is layer 1, our ink is layer 2, our die cuts are layer 3, and we're still coming in with our dies. Now this one is our cog that we want. Now if you want to add a little bit of early espresso to this, you can. I wouldn't add it too deep. Okay, so just a little bit, not overly deep. So just virtually what you've still got on your sponge dauber. Turn your sponge dauber around. You may need a little bit, and if you do, just dab it off a little bit so it doesn't come in too dark. And just give that a little bit of texture if you want to do that. Now, if you don't have a sponge dauber, you can use a little bit of sponge from the kitchen, like a little bit of sponge from the kitchen, and you can just come around with that. But it doesn't go on quite as nice, but it goes on. We're going to put a dimension in the middle here now. So we're going to grab a dimension, and we're just placing it into the center. And that's the only piece that I'm putting on here. And now this goes down to where you want it. Okay, so in between, wherever you want it. I'm going to move it across a little bit this time in here. And then we're going to put some circles in it, because when we cut things out, when we cut this one out, we cut this out. So you've got 2 layers there. So I cut one like that, and then we had this one that also was done like that. So we're going to actually use this piece next, and we're going to put this around the outer edge like that. So we're building up now on our element. So, whoa, you've got to be careful when you squeeze these. You see a little bit more cardstock and you go, oh yes, I can do that. And then this is just going to go around like this. And then we're going to use this bit. Now this is the bit we're going to stamp onto a word. And I just didn't bring my words over, so I'm just going to quickly grab, you want a smallish word. I'm just going to see in here, because we've been using these ones for the others. Let me just see. Okay, so we were using our Peaceful Peers stamp set, and we were also using the Sunrise Sailing in our first lot. So you might find something in there that's got words. I think Just Because is nice. So we're going to add the Just Because from the Peaceful Peers, because they're the ones that I've been using throughout this series of men's cards. Whoop, don't stick that on the glue. So it's red rubber. Okay, it's still one of our old ones. Let me just go through this a little bit with you. It has this border around, and you can't see where this border is, but you've got to be mindful that it has a border. Okay, I'm going to press that on. And I'm going to ink, and I'm going to just try it on a scrap first. Yep, beautiful. Ink. And then I'm just going to come in and stamp it towards the bottom of this one. Okay, just because. Clean it. Because it's a little stamp, I try to put it back into the container straight away. Why? So I don't lose it, because stamps have got a habit of attaching themselves to the back of things. And then you go looking for it. You can spend quite some time looking for something. Now you've got two choices here. If you want to, you can put it straight in. Otherwise you can put some dimensions on it. This time I'm going to add some dimensions. I'll show you one that hasn't got dimensions, but I'm going to do some dimensions. I'm going to do a bit of blending around this one as well, and I'm going to add 4 because I want it to sit quite firm onto this circle, because this is already raised up. Okay, so a little bit of early espresso on my sponge dauber, and I'm just going to come around the edge. It sort of gives it like an extra colour within the circle when you come around with this, so, or you can leave it plain. The other one I've done plain, and I'll share that with you. If I remember, I will share it with you. Okay, so, and then you've still got another circle and that to use on another card. So you've got a happy birthday, you've got some circles there still to use on another card. Put all your pieces aside, because you'll be able to make a card with it. Okay, it's just about lunchtime for everyone over here in Australia, or in Victoria anyhow. Okay, so now this is going to go in here, like that. Now you would have got some of these gorgeous sparkle little things in your kit as well. Okay, these are absolutely, I'm going to put them over the white envelope so you can sort of see that they are really beautiful. They got like, they're sparkle gems. They're just absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to put the big one up here. And then we're going to put the little ones onto our card down here and down here. You can put them wherever you want. Okay, so now we're going to get our card, which is Early Espresso, Old Olive, and our beige. So that's going to go on the inside. Okay, clean all this up, because if you don't clean it up, you end up with mess everywhere. Now, just a wet wipe will wipe off that glue off your, come straight off your dimension pad. I save these little plastic things because they are so good to add that glue on, okay? And they just wipe off with a wet one. It's not tacky now, so you don't have to worry about glue being stuck on there. Just a wet, it's just no alcohol, no aniline, no nothing. It's just the water wipe. Okay. I'll show you the ones that I get, because a lot of people ask me over and over again, what ones do you get? I just get these ones. It's an 80 pack. They're fragrance free. Now, the reason I get fragrance free is, one, because I have a sensitive nose to smells, but not just me. If people have asthma in your class, you don't want anything that's got high perfume. They're just a free water. 99.5% water wipe, okay, and they're made in Australia. Perfect for wiping your paper trimmers, your embossing machines, your silicone mats, just everything. Your dimension parts, which is really good. Everything's good, it just wipes off. Okay, so we've got our card, and we're going to grab our little card out here and grab our insert here. And the other way you can do this if you don't have a bone folder is just fold it in half and then bring this up like this. Okay, and this can just go in like this. So just a little bit of glue or dimensions, whichever way you want to go. If you're hand delivering, you can always use dimensions. If you're posting, I would use glue, unless it's someone extra special. Okay, so we've got that on the front, and then we can open up the inside and put our old olive, early espresso, old olive, and the beige goes so well together. Even the old olive crumb cake and the beige goes really well, and old olive, beige, and the Cajun craze, they all go really well too. So these are the colours that I've sort of used today throughout this card, and they are fantastic to use. You can decorate up the inside. You can also decorate up your envelope depending on what you want to do. So we've got the envelope decorated on this one already. So you can sort of see it all goes really well together. Let's come up here. So there you go. And that's a great gold nugget to 10 is that you can put the glue on your pieces if you want to with your Tombow glue. You can let them sit aside, get a little bit tacky, then you can glue them down. So that's another way of doing it. You can put happy birthday on here, you can put whatever you like on the inside. Just because you're special, you can have on the inside, or just because it's your birthday, or whatever you want to put on the inside. I hope you enjoyed. Let me come up with the plain one that's not, I've done a little bit different. I've done my arrows up higher on this one. I put my little dots, I've just done it a little bit different to this one. And you can sort of see just bringing in a little bit of texture onto these, how they look different. Yeah, so doesn't matter which way you do it, they look amazing. God bless you all, and I'll see you all, hi Jacinta, I'll see you all back here at 1 o'clock for our next session. God bless you all, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.